Welcome to Friday Friends, RI Elder Info's weekly look at the organizations and individuals providing resources for Rhode Island seniors, caregivers, and professionals.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. I am taking you all on a road trip with me today. I am actually at Rhode Island College in Gage Hall, but it's so important that I speak to you every Friday at 9. I said, I'm going to take them all on a road trip today. I'm actually going to be attending the Office of Healthy Aging's Adult Protective Services Conference today, and I'm really looking forward to the speakers, and I'm sure there's going to be lots of information that I'll be sharing with you in my newsletter this week. So make sure that you've signed up for my newsletter. I usually don't tell you that, but I think that's going to be really important because I can get this information out within a matter of hours of receiving it. And we know that I like to send out the most up-to-date resources, right? That's why I come on here every Friday at 9. And today we're going to talk about some really cool programs that are available out there for people to participate. So make sure you hit the like button and the share button and the bells and whistles and all those social media cues, because there's going to be people out there who will benefit from the programs we're talking about today. So as you all know, we are a 501c3 nonprofit, and I'm Deb Burton, the Executive Director of RI Elder Info. And if it wasn't for the support of our sponsors and our donors, we wouldn't be able to bring this information out to you. So big shout out to Aetna and to Oak Street Health, United Health, Tamarisk Assisted Living. The magic that you see happening here that allows me to be at Rhode Island College and still see you is the magic from 321 Media. They're the only organization, the only business out there who is doing this kind of live streaming, which is really pretty cool. And you visited rielderinfo.com. I'm sure that is from the wonderful marketing and website design team of England Studio. So if you need that kind of stuff, I encourage you to check out our sponsors. And thank you to our individual donors. Let me tell you, if you sign on as a donor at $25 a month, less than $1 a day, it really makes a big difference for us. So many hands make the load light, right? So this morning, I would like to introduce Jasmine Franco from the Rhode Island Department of Health. She is the manager of the Chronic Care and Disease Program. Welcome, Jasmine.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me on today.
Thank you. Thank you. So can you tell everybody what is the Chronic Care and Disease Management Program at RIDO? What is it that you do?
Sure. So I am the Chronic Disease Self-Management Education Program Manager. I am seated in the Chronic Care and Disease Management team at RIDO. I personally work on disseminating evidence-based programs statewide with a team that we call the Own Your Health Collaborative. And that consists of Department of Health, the Rhode Island Parent Information Network, and also the Rhode Island Geriatric Education Center down at URI. So I work on this group to do the coordination, the planning, the marketing for evidence-based programs. We also do facilitator trainings, but we do the statewide promotion of different programs that are free to anyone 18 or older in the state.
So can you just explain to everybody what an evidence-based program means? Sure. What does evidence-based mean?
Sure. So that means that there has been research done on these programs and that there are proven outcomes. So everything that we promote has, the research has been done to make sure that if you complete this program, you participate and you complete, you'll receive those, you should receive those outcomes or experience those outcomes. And that's different per program. For example, Walk with Ease is a program that we promote. It is an evidence-based walking program, which is rare. A lot of times walking programs don't have that evidence behind it. But for example, with Walk with Ease, if you participate and complete this program, we found through research that participants will experience increased self-confidence. They'll also have improved balance and strength, and also reduced pain associated with arthritis.
So this is something that if you do maybe have arthritis or you are experiencing pain and you participate in the Walk with Ease program, the evidence-based means it really does make a difference. Like it really does help people, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We also have we have quite a few programs, but a couple others that are pretty popular are our Tools for Healthy Living program and our chronic pain self-management program. And those are really great for chronic pain. Obviously, anyone experiencing chronic pain, that program helps participants learn how to self-manage symptoms. So they talk about pacing, rest, and activity, fatigue, but also communication skills with family members, but also healthcare providers. So that's really helping you take advantage of, or work on yourself through these management tools. Tools for Healthy Living is very similar, but it focuses on more chronic disease broadly, and giving those participants the tools they need to self-manage symptoms. And similar concept, but they're focusing on fatigue, action planning, medication management, in the broad sense of chronic disease, whereas chronic pain is more focused.
Okay. And so with these programs, do you have to have a certain kind of insurance? Is there limitations to who can participate? Are these open to everybody, or like only if you have a certain like insurance plan?
Absolutely. Great question. So the only eligibility requirement really for these programs is to be 18 and older. I am grant funded through CDC, which allows me to offer these programs completely for free for anyone 18 and older. We find that they're a great fit for people who are experiencing chronic disease or chronic pain, someone who is looking just to make a healthier lifestyle change, but also for caregivers as well, family, friends, neighbors of people that are experiencing some of these symptoms. But there is no insurance requirement. Just that someone is 18 and older to participate. And we do collect some data with these programs. We do some participant data collection, but this is really to help us keep funded and to allow us to offer these programs for free. They are voluntary, but we ask certain things like demographics, some behavior questions, but again, totally voluntary and just to help us keep these programs funded and free to the public.
And so the data that you collect on people, like, does it stay anonymous, or do you say like, oh, Deb Burton was not successful at the walking program because she didn't go walking every day?
Absolutely not. It is totally de-identified, and it's only shared in bigger numbers. So it's just to show, hey, we had 1,000 people this year go through the chronic pain self-management program, and we found that our participants experience from completing the program, they're eating more fruits and vegetables, or they're engaging in higher levels of physical activity, just things like that, very broad and never ever identifiable.
Oh, that's good. That's good, because, well, I'm not exactly the best one to be really good at continuing exercise programs and things like that. And I have a hard time believing I'm the only one. So I would hate to have that information just out there. So when people go through the program, where are the programs held at? Like, how do they get signed up for them? What are the different kinds of programs? And you said anybody over 18, is there like a limit to how old you can be to participate?
Nope. So great questions. We are all over the state, so you should find us statewide. We do offer almost all of our programs, both in person and virtually, since the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And sorry, okay. I wanted to point out, to find where the programs are close to you, we do have a centralized referral system in the state of Rhode Island. It is called the Community Health Network. So if someone is interested in participating in a program, they can go online and visit the Community Health Network. We have a calendar which shows all of our upcoming programs. And I just want to note that this calendar, or this Community Health Network, is for a host of different program providers. So you'll see all of our Own Your Health programs on there, but you'll also see other programs from the YMCA or Lifespan. And these are either evidence-based or evidence-informed programs. So it's a great resource. So if anyone is interested in finding a program with either in person or virtual, if they follow the link, they can see upcoming workshops. They can also have the option to call in, which is also a great resource, because the Community Health Network has staff of patient navigators who are bilingual in English and Spanish. And these are a great resource. They're one-on-one for anyone that needs the help. And they will talk through what your needs are. What are you looking for? What type of program would be a good fit for you? They'll also talk through barriers. Do you have a transportation barrier? Is there a childcare barrier? And they'll help work through that. If there's a program you're interested in, but it's not either in person close enough to where you are, or there's one not available for when you are available, they can help you navigate that, whether it's putting you on a wait list, which drives our need for programs. So that way, hey, you know what, we need a program in this area of Pawtucket. It'll drive us to go ahead and coordinate that. So great resource, great to see what is available in the state. You can register directly through that link, or like I said, give the patient navigator a call and they can help you with that.
Yep. And that link, that's the ripen.org/CHN/
Exactly.
and Ripen, the Rhode Island Parent Information Network, right?
Yes, it is. So they are one of our partners in the Own Your Health Collaborative, and they also oversee the day-to-day functions of the Community Health Network.
Oh, that's good. We've had Ripen on the show before, and they really are a wonderful program. I think sometimes people hear Rhode Island Parent Information Network and maybe don't realize it's parents of little ones, but also people who are parents and people who are looking after parents. So it's that full age spectrum.
They're an awesome partner, and
Yes.
they go all across the lifespan. So yeah, their name can be sometimes a little bit confusing, but they offer resources, like I said, across the lifespan. Great resource. The patient navigators are staff of Ripen, and they're just wonderful.
Yeah, it really is a great program. So you had mentioned several programs for individuals to participate in to improve their own health. Are there programs through Ripen or through Rido to help support those who are caregivers and caring for somebody else?
There are. So there is a Powerful Tools for Caregiver program. It is also an evidence-based program because it is on the Community Health Network. I don't support that program directly, but I could absolutely help anyone that's interested and get them in touch. But Community Health Network patient navigators would be the perfect folks to help anyone find that program, PTC, Powerful Tools for Caregivers. But that is a program specifically for folks that are taking care of others, and it will help them learn to take care of themselves, which is something that tends to be overlooked when we're helping others. So
Yeah.
that is available through the Community Health Network, on the calendar for upcoming offerings, but also talking to a patient navigator. If they want to learn more about that program, they can do that as well.
You know, it's interesting. If you have ever flown on an airplane, flight attendants give the best life advice. Put the oxygen mask on yourself first, or you
Absolutely.
can't help anybody else. And so I think the programs that you're offering are really important for people to understand, like, yeah, getting exercise for yourself, eating well for yourself is actually what can enable you to be able to take care of someone else.
It's so true. It's very true. And I think sometimes we're kind of go, 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 and we don't think of that, but it's very important to take care of ourselves and get that self-care that we need. And I did want to mention, Deb, I'm talking about all of our lovely partners that help make these programs run, but I also wanted to mention that our programs are run by peer facilitators. So we, as Own Your Health, also do facilitator trainings. All of our programs that I mentioned, so far, Tools for Healthy Living, Chronic Pain Self-Management, those are led by two peer facilitators, which means that we try to train our program leaders. We try to train people who can relate to our members. So this can be whether they're in an age range of the folks that we're reaching, that they have chronic disease, or they have chronic pain, or they're caregivers. So that's something we're always looking for too. We're looking for folks that are passionate about health and wellness, and that want to give back to the community. We host these trainings a couple of times a year. They are free to participate, and what you get out of it is so much more. So you can learn the curriculum of the program, you can work with Own Your Health, and go out there and co-lead these programs right within your own communities. And I also wanted to share the Own Your Health website is a great resource as well to learn more about our programs, but also learn more about becoming a workshop facilitator.
That is really good. So when you say peer facilitator, does that basically translate into people who are experiencing the same things that I might be experiencing. And so we can have like that real connection.
Absolutely. It can mean a few different things, but it makes it so that we can have more of a connection and our leaders can understand our participants a little bit better. So that can mean, it doesn't mean that the leader of your program is going to be the same age as you, have the same chronic condition as you, but it could mean different things. It could mean that they have been a caregiver for someone with chronic conditions. It could mean that they're experiencing chronic conditions themselves. That way, they're not so far removed when they're leading the workshops. They can understand what those participants are going through and helping them because they have now learned how to self-manage these things. A lot of our group-based programs, so Tools for Healthy Living, Chronic Pain, we do brainstorming and action planning. So we find that having that peer support is helpful for things like that. Brainstorming on different issues someone might be having or something they just want to talk about, something they're trying to figure out. And that allows the leaders to kind of connect a little bit more. And then, of course, those other folks or participants in the group are more likely than not experiencing those things as well.
You know, it's something I said earlier, many hands make the load light. I think sometimes having conversations with others with similar experiences, you know, whether you are maybe that 20-something-year-old trying to get out the door in the morning for work, and you're diabetic and trying to figure out, like, what can I grab fast that's, you know, going to keep me healthy, is not really a whole lot different substantively if you are an older adult who's like, I really don't have a lot of time and energy to cook breakfast in the morning. And so what is it that's a safe, healthy alternative to have in the house? Whether you're running out the door or like cooking in the morning is not your thing. And having that conversation. And I think there's also value in having multi-generational conversations.
That is super important. And though we tend to see older adults participating in our programs, I have been a program participant of Tools for Healthy Living. And I can tell you, I was in a group of a bunch of different ages. I was the youngest of the group. I got so much out of that workshop. I had been the program manager for a bit at that time, but I had gone to leader trainings, but I had not been a participant myself. And though maybe on paper I might not relate so much to the older participants, I made connections. And there are things, like you said, that 20-year-old and that person that might be a little bit older and not able to do that for themselves, they are able to draw some connections there. And I have to tell you, one of the participants we connected, she was an older woman from Providence, and she would call me from time to time and just check in with me in my office. And you know, it was awesome. I loved talking to her. It was a great connection there that maybe we were at different times in our life, but we were able to connect on things. And that was so even though I was not technically a peer to her, I was, because we were able to connect on different things. And I think that's so important. And I definitely will cherish that experience of being in the program. It was great.
That's one of those stories I think that is really important for the world to hear, is that connecting with people who are different in some ways and similar in others is so important across the generations. Before we had technology and things like that, that's how things got done, is we connected with people of all ages, all generations, races, ethnicities, languages. Like, we connected as a society. And so I think part of what the programs you're offering, not only does it provide that information that people need on how to be healthier, but it is also kind of helping people form those connections that extend beyond the program.
Absolutely. And I think it's a way of, it's eye-opening because we're learning things. So across the generations, you're going to learn something sitting in a workshop, maybe for 6 weeks with someone else. It's that group support, and being able to connect on some level, even if their background is different, whatever it is that's different. If they're there because they're experiencing chronic conditions, they're going to be able to connect. They're going to learn from one another, especially when they're going through that brainstorming. Another big key part of our chronic pain and our Tools for Healthy Living programs are action planning, which is my favorite piece of the program. It's what we get a lot of great feedback on. And action planning is essentially taking a larger goal and cutting it down to something that's attainable. And so every week, participants create an action plan. They share it with the group. They share their confidence level about how they're going to do it and what they're going to do, and they report the following week. And I think that's eye-opening too, because if you select a certain goal that you have, and others are hearing how you're going to do that, and then hearing your feedback the following week on how were you successful? Maybe you weren't successful. Why weren't you? That's a learning experience. So it's that's something that is probably my favorite part of the workshops, and that we do with the feedback we get from participants and leaders is really meaningful.
It's interesting because it sounds like there's some accountability, not that like somebody would get in trouble if they didn't do what they said they were going to do, but I find that if I tell someone that I'm going to do something by a certain date, in my own world, I tend to get it done because I told someone I was going to, and I feel accountable to them, and I don't want to disappoint them. And so I'm more likely to do the task. If I say, I'm going to get you that information by Friday, you're going to get it by Friday. Versus,
and I think
I gotta look for that.
Well, I think that, so with the self-management programs, we don't want to do too much hand-holding. We want them to self-manage. So that's part of what they're learning is, okay, and maybe they do feel that. Maybe they are feeling, I have to come back next week and report on this, so I'm going to do it. And that's great, but it's also building healthy habits. But also, if you come back and you didn't do it, hey, that's life. And so, sometimes what the leaders do, they brainstorm, and it's a perfect opportunity. So what happens? So say I'm trying to be a bit more physically active, and my action plan is that I'm going to come back next week and I'm going to have walked 3 times a week for 30 minutes. And I come back and I'm like, you know what? I couldn't do it. I got out the door 2 days for 20 minutes. What will happen is the leaders of the program will throw that up on the board, and they'll brainstorm, and they'll say, well, maybe what are things, and the whole group will brainstorm, what are things that would make you more likely next week to do that? And it could be, I'm going to cut it into shorter. I'm going to get out of the house 3 times for 10 minutes each, and coming up with solutions that way. So we also don't want it to be a scary thing of that, oh, I can't go back. I didn't do my action plan. We want it to be, we understand their competing priorities, and life happens, but that, hey, we're just going to reassess. And once the program's over, you now have the tools to do that yourself.
Yep. And I think part of the benefit of the brainstorming when you find a challenge is, the Rhode Island way, we got a guy. And it's like, you got a guy who's going to support you in those groups. When maybe you're a caregiver and you're caring for somebody and you're like, oh man, I'm exhausted and I just want to take a nap. You might have somebody in your group who can say, well, I was successful when I reached out to my faith community to have somebody come to the house and, just hang out with my loved one. You have many people who can provide that information all together in a room.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're not just learning from your facilitators. You're going to learn from the other participants who are going through similar things you are. That's what it should be, an environment of support, but also learning, group learning. And we definitely get that feedback. We get a lot of feedback. Chronic Pain and Tools for Healthy Living, these are 6-week programs. We get a lot of feedback that participants wanted them to be longer because they liked that group support, especially for the in-person programs where they can, they're seeing everyone in person every week. But the good thing is you can take a Tools for Healthy Living program and follow it up with chronic pain. Or if you loved chronic pain, you can take it again. If you're needing more of that self-management support or just want to be in that setting and learning from others and learning from the peer facilitators.
And there's nothing that prevents people from being connected after the meeting, right?
Absolutely not. We would encourage it. If you make a connection in class, someone that's helping you self-manage or on your journey towards your self-management of your chronic disease or chronic pain, we would encourage that, especially for the Walk with Ease program. That's a self-directed walking program, meaning that we have an online portal that you can go on and register. But we have different community-based organizations that promote the program. And we love the buddy system. Get together, walk together, keep it going after the 6 weeks, or meeting someone in a Tools for Healthy Living or chronic pain class. We talk about physical activity and nutrition in those classes. If you're bonding with someone, maybe you're taking that walk after class, and or just chatting about something that came up during your brainstorm that, you know what, I heard you brought this topic up for your brainstorm. I'm experiencing that too. Want to talk about it after class? That's what we hope for, building connections.
That makes all the difference in the world for success.
Absolutely.
I love the programs that you're offering. I think they're super important. And is there a fee involved? Is there any cost? Nothing?
For the programs I mentioned today, they are all free. And it's awesome because the program's free, and all 3 programs I mentioned today, they also have resource books that come with it as being a participant. So Tools for Healthy Living, Chronic Pain, you'll receive a book that goes along with your 6 weeks. You'll also receive a relaxation CD. That's all free. Walk with Ease, if you join through the portal, you can receive a free ebook, or you can have a physical copy of our Walk with Ease resource book mailed home. That's all free, and that's all because of our grant funding, which we're very, very happy for. Other programs on the CHN, on the Community Health Network, they are either low cost or free. I can't tell you off the top of my head right now which programs would have a cost, but the majority of the programs are free.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
And are the classes being held in person, or are they virtual or kind of hybrid?
It's a mixture of both. So we have some in-person offerings, some virtual offerings. I can tell you it's either one or the other. We don't do a hybrid of both. Some people will be in person, some people will be virtual. If you join an in-person program, everyone is going to be your facilitators, and your other participants are going to be going in person. If it's virtual, it's going to be virtual for those 6 weeks over Zoom.
Awesome. And so just say again, how do people get connected with these programs? What do they need to do to register?
Sure,
or become a leader?
So the best way to register and become a participant in the program is to visit our Community Health Network website, and that's therightbend.org/CHN. When you visit that site, you're going to see a list of the programs I mentioned today, but also programs from other program providers. Like I mentioned, Lifespan YMCA programs. They're all going to be listed there. And if you click on them, they will show any upcoming workshops that we have scheduled. There's also the option, the phone number is also on that site, but I can mention it. It's 401-432-7217. That's to call and talk to a patient navigator. I would encourage that. They're a resource for you to take advantage of. If you're not sure how to navigate the website, give them a call. Let them know what you're interested in, and they can help you there.
You don't have to be tech savvy. You can actually call the 401-432-7217 and reach a human being.
Absolutely. And they do speak English and Spanish. So they can help you. Even if you don't know what program you want to join, you can give them a call, tell them a little bit about yourself, let them know where you're located, if you're interested in person or virtual, and they'll help guide you. They are a whiz and know all about our programs, so they can help navigate which would be a perfect fit for you.
And even trying to get the transportation to get there and all those weird things that sometimes stand in the way.
They'll try their best to work through any barriers you might have, whether that's maybe you need some technical assistance for a virtual workshop, they can help you with that. Or if it's something for in-person, like we talked about, transportation, childcare, they'll help navigate and provide resources.
Awesome.
And to become a facilitator, that's going to be the Own Your Health website.
Okay.
So if you, I think you popped up on the screen, but the ownyourhealthri.org, we have some program descriptions on there, but there's also a page for becoming a workshop facilitator. So if you're interested in learning more about that, what a training consists of, when they are, what happens after a training, you can visit that page. You can also reach out to me, to my email, and I'm happy to chat about that. And give you any more information. We do trainings a couple times a year. We do have one coming up in late October for the chronic pain self-management program. So if anyone's interested, we'd be happy to have you join us. And from the training, you would go on and be one of our peer facilitators and host these programs with us in the community.
That is awesome. That is absolutely awesome. Jasmine, I'm so glad you were able to come on today and share these programs, because I think they would really make a difference in people's health. Not only the physical health, but that means of getting connected with other people. That makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. And I agree. I have to agree with you. I love these programs. I'm passionate about these programs. I work with a great team. And the feedback we're getting on our participants going through these programs, we know it's worth it and that it's a great opportunity for those out there. And thank you so much for having me today. It was wonderful. Happy to talk about my programs anytime you
Awesome.
need to. And please just let me know if you need anything. I'm happy to help.
Awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you for coming on today. This has been awesome. And people can find information at the ripen.org or ownyourhealthri.org. They can call at the 401-432-7217. So this has been great, Jasmine. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
Yes, you also. Well, everybody, these are truly amazing programs. And evidence-based means that they really do work. So you can sign up for one of these programs at the sites or calling the information that we gave and have that difference be made in your life and get connected with others who are maybe experiencing the same thing you are. You know, many hands make the load light. It is by working together that we are going to be able to be successful at aging independently going forward. So I look forward to seeing you all next week. Reach out to those resources so that you can be well and be kind.
If you like this video, please follow us on social media and subscribe on YouTube. For more information, visit rielderinfo.com or call 401-585-0509. If you have any questions, email deb@rielderinfo.com.